Alright, so this is the last time I'm recording this because it is taking me way too many times to record this, but I'm just going to make the general sense that if the COD League should stop fighting players, because I believe it's giving them a really bad rap in the community. The community really is looking at the COD League as the villains instead of, the supportive people who are making the COD League great. They are more likely giving themselves even worse situation that they started in. So players have been speaking out against the game and the COD League since the beginning of the year. Ever since the issues came up about the spawns and about the map and about the mini-map, just all the issues that came up during the beginning of the year, those were spoken about and they were told that it was going to be fixed, and they told the whole community it was going to be fixed. They said they're going to import the mini-map, and they even said a big update was coming, and that update never came, and that gave us a really bad taste in our mouths, and in Activision and in the COD League. Since the COD League is owned by Activision, we were blaming COD League, and also we were blaming the developers. Mostly the developers, not really the COD League. The COD League, well, we only had the home series that hadn't begun yet. So the home series comes around, a couple issues, a couple of internet issues once it going on online. But when it was on LAN, great. The only thing that was showing up as a problem was we didn't have tournaments, which was a big thing in Call of Duty. If you haven't seen Call of Duty Esports, Call of Duty has always been run around events, always been run around tournaments, and it's always been, this tournament's coming up, so Atlanta's coming up, or Anaheim's coming up, or Vegas is coming up. It's always the tournament is coming up. It's never been, it's gonna be matches and then a playoffs, like how Overwatch was. And we saw how Overwatch was doing, and we thought, well, Overwatch is slowly dying down. What are we gonna do if this happens to Call of Duty? We need our tournaments so we can keep our culture, but even though it's not gonna be in the same locations, we still want our tournaments, since our culture has always been around tournaments. It's never been around matches, and then the big one has been tournament, the big one. It's never just been matches and then playoffs. It's always been tournament, big tournament. So that's where they started messing up. They listened to us, they made the tournaments, and the system was a bit off than what we were used to, but we got used to it. Even though it was a single elimination, and we obviously wanted double them, but we get what we get. Alright, the year keeps going. COVID-19 comes in and it kind of fumbles everything up. We can't do LANs, and then it went online. And online, obviously, you're gonna have to have good servers. The servers weren't really that great. The players were playing now on 60 hertz after they realized 12 hertz isn't really great for custom matches, since that's not great for practice. But then once they had 60 hertz, players were having issues practicing due to not being able to connect with each other. So they fixed that issue, but still, eventually it came back up, and Slasher still tweets about it, having issues with connecting to 60 hertz servers. He'd rather have 12 hertz servers and be able to connect and have practice. So that's something that could be fixed, and I think they'll eventually fix it. Yada yada yada. We'll keep going on through the year. Issues with COD League now. COD League interrupted a couple matches. Matches were being interrupted due to audio issues and due to the quality of the streams. A lot of people were pointing at the COD League, saying that they aren't managing their stuff right. Obviously, it's just new things that they have to deal with. I see that they're working hard and trying to fix it and trying to show that they're doing well, but you messed up by having a 40-minute delay in between a very shocking series between Seattle and Atlanta, and that kind of put a bad rap in the community against you guys. You say you fixed it, good job, the bad rap goes away, but then it happens again with the Hunts. Well, yeah, it happens with the Huntsman again, which is a very big community that you don't really want to mess with. And one player disconnects, and instead of replaying the match, you give them the L, which gives them the 2-0. And they still lose, I believe. So yeah, it's just a really rough situation with the COD League. The COD League can't believe they're still gonna fix it, and then the whole meta changes, and then yeah, that's just a lot of problems that happen with the COD League. This wouldn't have killed the COD League. I'm not saying it's dead. I'm just saying that it was killing it by making us believe that the COD League was villains, especially when players were speaking out on it. Since I believe they only speaking out on it because they weren't listening to them in the background. If they were listening to them in the background, I believe the COD players wouldn't have tweeted and wouldn't have given the COD League a bad rap. And if COD League doesn't have a bad rap, eventually the things get fixed. And even if it's slow, at least they're listening and telling us, yes, it will be fixed. But instead, they just smack them in the face with a fine, and hopefully they be quiet. Some players, like Scraps and Slasher, don't really care about the fines. They say, here's a fine, and then they toss them the money in their faces. That's what they do. Some players have kept quiet. They're just waiting out the year and just saying, gotta believe it next year. And some players didn't even speak out at all because obviously they don't want to lose their money. This really makes the COD League look like an extreme villain, making the community think they're restricting their players from speaking their opinions, and also just the COD League just looks like they're dictators pretty much. And a lot of players have quit because of the game, not because of the COD League. The game is obviously not that great. The Warzone, fantastic. A lot of people like it, a lot of people think it's great. Personally, don't like it, but who cares? So the game isn't perfect in multiplayer. Warzone, and we're putting that away for right now. We're talking about multiplayer. Multiplayer maps don't look great. Alright, season coming up. Maps still don't look great, but they're getting better. Another season coming up. Maps still don't look great, but it's getting better. And it's slowly getting better till season 5, and the maps are pretty mumbo jumbo. They're a lot restricted, they're a lot more closer, I guess, a lot smaller. Sure, that's great, but your map flow is horrible. But if we're going to competitive, the game, the maps aren't great. You're playing with maps that are messed up, which is squad spawns, and players have spoken out that is very tricky this year, since you can be covering all the spawns in your back and there's magically a spawn in a new place that's behind you and takes away the spawns from you. So you did everything right, but the spawns go to the other team, which is why you don't see bad teams getting like 100-point club, because the spawns are just tossed anywhere they could be tossed to. There's no strategy, there's no strategic value in the spawns. It's just that hopefully you get spawns and cover the spawns that we can, and hopefully spawns are on our side. We've seen this in competitive matches, where a lot of competitive matches are kind of tossed in the air because the enemy team just gets the spawns, even though there's a player all the way in the back getting those spawns. Yeah, this is where the COD League should be saying, okay, we're going to try to fix the spawns, we're going to take out squad spawning. Not the COD League, the developers, but the developers don't fix it. While the COD League is still finding players in the face for speaking out against the game, not the COD League. They're speaking out that the game isn't great and that the spawns aren't great, but they're not talking about the COD League. But since Activision owns both, it gives the COD League a really bad rap. This is where people are starting to say CWL, the Call of Duty World League, which is before the Call of Duty League. Those are two different things. They're believing that CWL was better than COD League. And right now, it is true. It is true. And CWL was a lot nicer, and they fixed the issues a lot faster, because obviously it was a separate party, it wasn't the same party, and they had experience. While the COD League don't have experience, and they have to fix this on the fly, and they are a little bit slower. Which is why I really think the COD League should stop finding players, because they're speaking against the game, but since Activision really controls both of them, the COD League still has to find them. So what I'm saying is, the COD League should stop finding players for speaking against the game. Just the game. If they're speaking about the COD League and it's in their contract, they should be fined, because it's in their contract. But if it's not in their contract to not speak out against the game, then they should not be fined. It just kind of makes me laugh because Activision is controlling this all behind the scenes, I believe, and that really makes the COD League look really bad just because of Activision's decisions. I really do not like Activision, but I love Call of Duty and the developers. I feel really bad because Activision's pulling all the strings, and it's just Activision telling them you should make up the game like this instead of this because they are the ones funding the games, and they're telling the COD League, okay, fine those guys because they are funding the COD League, and if the investors go away, well, there goes your money and there goes your job. So I think that's where I'm gonna end it. I just really hope that the COD League stops finding players. That's the end result of this. I just believe that they should not be finding players because that gives them really bad rap, and that gives the league a really bad rap, and that makes them obviously less money because a lot of people don't want to watch it because of the bad rap of the COD League, or they just hate on the COD League and make other people think, dang, Call of Duty Esports is really toxic, which it really isn't. We love our teams. It's just that Activision in the back just manipulating both the game and the league. It's making it look like we're really toxic. We just love the game and we really want it to be great and competitive to be great. Hopefully y'all enjoy this video, and please put your opinions in the comments if you got this far. It's just an opinion, my opinion. You can change my opinion by telling me what you think about it, and hopefully y'all enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one.